and welcome to episode 76 of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I am Helen, because my name doesn't change week to week. And I'm coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 6, and Jasper, who is 3. Today is Monday the 26th of October, and for anyone that doesn't know, I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. And this is my crafty podcast where I can talk about all of my crafty pursuits. Welcome back to everyone that watches regularly. It's lovely to have regulars that come back week on week to catch up. I really enjoying interacting with you in the comments and just chatting to you generally. And hello to anyone that is new and watching for the first time. I hope you enjoy my little chaotic corner of the internet where I can talk about all my crafts. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands so much this week. Maybe if I hold my cup of tea, it'll happen less. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. Right, what have I got for you this week? I'm going to start off with a little bit of an announcement section as always, just a quick refresher on our make-alongs. I'm going to talk a little bit about some works in progress. I've got a little bit of blanket progress to share. I've got a little bit of yarny goodness to share, and then I'm going to have a little chat at the end, just a shop chat, just a little bit of an update on Advents and kind of my plans for the shop over the next couple of months. And then we'll finish off with a tiny little bit of life stuff. Right, okay. Announcements. So we have got 2 make-alongs running at the moment. We are running them both on Instagram and on Ravelry because of various accessibility issues with Ravelry at the moment. So we have the Giddy Yarns make-along, which is our ongoing quarterly make-along, which is anything, any project, anything you are creating that uses at least 50% of my yarn, so 50% of Giddy Yarns, can be entered. As long as it's been finished this year. It doesn't need to have been finished within this quarter, it just needs to have been finished within 2020. And enter that into either the Ravelry Group or you can use the hashtag Giddy Yarns FA on Instagram. All of the details will be linked in the show notes down below, so you should be able to see all the hashtags and everything there in case I get them wrong. And the next quarterly prize draw for that will be the end of December, so I'll probably draw that in the beginning of January. And then we also have the Halloween make-along, which will be coming to an end next weekend. You've got 1 week left for that. I will be closing the thread on the 1st of November. So any project that you've got that you started after the 1st of September, but finished by the end of October, and you can link in some way to Halloween, horror, supernatural, magic, mystery, anything like that. And I shared on last week's episode all the lovely prizes, so if you want to see what prizes we have up for grabs, then check out last week's episode. I'll obviously talk about them in more detail next week when I draw prizes as well. Yeah, I'll be drawing prizes on the next episode. Yeah. Gosh, November is creeping up, isn't it? And for that one, again, we've got Ravelry Entry, and also you could use the hashtag on Instagram, which is GYHalloweenMAL, and stick an FO on the end if you're entering for your prize draw. If you're entering a finished object on Instagram. If you can, try and not enter in both places. So if you're able to enter in Ravelry and can enter your finished object into the Ravelry group, that would be preferable, because I'm going to have to weed out any double entries. And the less I have to weed out, the less extra work I have to do. Right, that's that. Let's get on to some whips. Now, I haven't done a lot of knitting this week. I have lost a bit of knitting mojo this week. It's been a really, really busy week. I was prepping for Glasgow School of Yarn for the virtual show that happened this weekend, and a big thank you to anyone that purchased as part of the show. It was amazing, and my job after I have finished talking to all of you is to pack up all the orders so that they can go to the post office tomorrow. I have also been packing Advents, which is chaos. So I have spent this week packing up all the international Advent calendars, and they have shipped this morning. So hopefully they should reach you in time. I will talk about the rest of the Advent calendars at the end in the shop news section. But all that to say, it's been quite a stressful week. It's been really, really busy, and I've been really, really tired. So when the evening has rolled around, I've not really made much progress on any knitting. So I will show you a few things that I've done a little bit of progress on. Tom said to me that maybe I should just show you projects and talk about the absence of knitting that I've done on them, the absence of progress. But it's kind of almost like that. Right, so what have I worked on? I actually don't know what's in this bag. Oh, I wasn't actually going to show you these because I literally... So these are my Halloween socks living in my lovely bag from Jem, very kindly gifted to me. And these are my Goosebumps socks that I'm knitting with the Goosebumps sock blank. I've still got some of these in the shop actually. And I finished the first one as I showed you last week. I have cast on the second one and I've made that much progress. So not a lot. I need to get these done. I need to work on these. I need to get them finished. Yeah, that's one thing I should try and work on this week. So yeah, a lack of progress on those, definitely. The one thing I have worked a reasonable amount on actually is a project that I've not picked up for a little while, and that is my summer holiday socks from the summer when we had the summer holidays make along, living in my lovely little bag from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane. In fact, Debbie's got a shop update tonight with Christmas versions of these bags, and I might have to have a look. So these are my summer holiday socks, and I was knitting the Cornish cream tea pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I got one sock finished during the make along. The yarn that I'm using was part of the set with the bag, and it's yarn from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane, and it is, let's see if I can get that to come up the right way around for you, Botanical Garden in the lilac version. So it is a merino nylon, I believe. Yes, it is a merino nylon. And I have made some progress on the second sock. So last time I showed you these, oh, quite a while ago, I was where this little progress keeper is. This is a progress keeper from Hannah at the corner of craft. And I was just there. So I've made a good kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern repeats. I think I've got 2 more pattern repeats to go, and then I'll be able to put the heel in for this sock. It's been quite nice getting back to these actually. I'd forgotten how much I was enjoying the pattern on these. It's a really nice repeat, really easy to read, like really easy to read your knitting, if that makes sense. So although it's quite a complex lace pattern, or at least it looks quite a complex lace pattern, you've got kind of the cabley bit down the side, you've got twisted stitches, and then you've got this crazy, I don't even know quite what to call it, gathered shell effect bit here. It looks quite complicated, but actually it's really simple. So yeah, I've been really enjoying these, and I'm glad I've managed to find a little bit of time to get a bit more progress on them. I just want them off the needles really before kind of Christmas season hits in. I've still got quite a bit of gift knitting that I want to do, and I haven't even really started on that, and it's nearly November. I am a rubbish gift knitter. That is, yeah, I am a rubbish gift knitter. But I need to get on with it. Right, and then what else was I going to share? I was also going to share my imply hat, because I've done a little bit of work on this, and this is living in a lovely bag, again, gifted to me during the Halloween make-along by the lovely Cherie of Ollie and Bella. Cherie is doing Vlogmas weekend vlogs, so she's doing like weekly, like each weekend she's uploading a vlog of her weekend. So not Vlogmas, oh my goodness, I am really tired. The clocks obviously changed this weekend if you're in the UK, and clocks changing and small children don't mix. So Arthur was in our bedroom at about 5:10 this morning, because he obviously thought it was 6:10. And yeah, he's not one that goes back to sleep really easily. If it'd been Jasper, we'd have been fine, because he'd have just curled up in the middle of us and gone straight back to sleep, and we'd have gone back to sleep. But Arthur is a fidget. So yeah. I am feeling, you know that feeling you get when your eyes are tired? My eyes are tired and my brain isn't working. Cherie is doing Vlogtober, weekend Vlogtober videos at the moment, which are really fun. I really like the fact that they're just a weekly video, a little bit longer than a kind of normal Vlogtober episode, but you get a little taste of what they've been up to over the weekend. I always enjoy Cherie's vlogs, and she's also podcasting again, so that's really good. But you want to see the knitting. Although one of these is a prize for the Halloween make-along as well. You want to see the knitting. I haven't put a progress keeper on this, so I can't tell you kind of where I was before when I showed you last week. But it is growing, and we now have kind of an established cable. This is a massive cable. It is really fun to knit. I'm quite slow at cables, but I really, really enjoy the effect that they create. And they're magic, aren't they? Really magic. Just slip a few stitches around, knit them in a slightly different order, and you get this amazing kind of effect. So as I said, this is the Imply hat. It's a pattern by Hunter Hammersman. I am knitting it out of, what yarn am I knitting it out of? I am knitting it out of my yarn. This is one of my Nostalgia Club colourways. This was the 1960s colourway, Psychedelia, and this is on my DK base. My DK base is 100% merino, and it's a really, really gorgeous plump base. It's really, really soft, really, really squishy. Perfect for kind of accessories and cows. It's really, really soft. So yeah, I've made some progress on this. It's quite slow progress because it's a cable row every other row. So with some hats, you know, you have a number of, well, with some cable patterns, I guess, you have a number of rows in between, and you just do a cable like every other row. I mean, even with these socks, the cable on this down the side here, I think you only actually cable like every 3 or 4 rows. Whereas with the hat, you're cabling every other row. So it's that kind of slows the progress down a little bit for me. But I'm really, really enjoying it. And I haven't decided yet whether this will be a gift hat or whether I kind of want it. I think it'd look quite nice on me. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I have made some progress on this and I am enjoying this. It's quite a nice, easy one to just pick up and put a couple of rounds on. But that's about all I'm getting done at the moment on it. So let's move on then to a little bit of blanket progress. I have not worked on my Cozy Memories blanket in weeks, absolutely weeks. I picked it up the other day and started a square, but I didn't even get through a whole square, so it's just sitting there with a square on the needles. But I did find some time this week to add a couple of hexagons to my hexagon blanket that I'd started. So I don't have a pattern for this. I can't even remember where I got the hexagon tutorial. I think it was literally just a tutorial on YouTube. I would link to one, but as I said, I really don't know. Just put in hexagon crochet pattern and you'll find something like this that comes up, and there'll be tutorials. There'll be loads of them. But yeah, this is where I've got 5 squares added now. So I did have 3 squares added the last time I spoke to you. I think it was these 3 middle ones, this one, and this one. And I've added these 2 extra ones. So this one here is Down Sheepy Lane, and it's the Grandma's Garden colourway. And I used this colourway in my So Faded sweater. And these 2, I'm not 100% sure. I need to double check. I think these might both be Debbie's yarn as well. These might both be Down Sheepy Lane. I need to have a little look at Arthur's blanket, and because I think they might be ones that I used in Arthur's blanket. I'm not 100% sure. This one here was my 2019 Perth exclusive colourway. This was Scoon Palace. And this one here is one of my Valentine's colourways. This is Let Me Count the Ways. I really like this. I love seeing how colourways crochet up versus how they knit up. I'm really enjoying it. And the aim of this, each of these hexagons takes 10 grams of yarn. I worked it out. I had a mini that was 10 grams and I crocheted and crocheted and crocheted until the mini wouldn't go round again. And this is what I got. So I've got 9 rounds and it uses 10 grams of yarn because I wanted something that used a bit more yarn than some of the other scrappy blankets. And my aim is that this will eventually become kind of just a really, really big throw kind of blanket. I'm joining them as you go, which is always nice because you see a little more progress that way. And I'm really enjoying it. I've got a bag full of minis that I've kind of set aside to use. I might not use all of these. I'm actually thinking now that I've got it started, I'm kind of thinking I'd quite like to keep it to slightly more muted colours, nothing too bright and colourful. I mean, this is obviously a reasonably bright one, but I think it works within the kind of more neutral, not neutral, more pastel-y, kind of more muted colours. And that's kind of my plan anyway. I don't know, so we'll see how long that lasts before I decide to just throw everything in. I'm also using a hook. I thought I'd show you these hooks. I use these crochet hooks. I don't know if it's going to focus on it. There we go. So this is a crochet hook from Lisa at For the Love of Yarn. She is a Glasgow? Are you Glasgow? I think she's Glasgow. Glasgow-based yarn dyer, but she makes these gorgeous crochet hooks. And I have got, oh, I don't know, I think they're right up on the top shelf. I've got quite a few of these. She does them in various different sizes, and it's basically just a metal crochet hook with a polymer clay handle, but I really like working with them. And I think that's everything to tell you about that blanket. Oh no, I was going to tell you one other thing. With this blanket, I am using finally my Secret Diary of a Scrappy Blanket notebook, project book, from Nikki, who is, now she's got the Sheep and Cheerful podcast. She's Clara Peggotty on Instagram and various other places around the internet. I think her Etsy shop is Hugs from Clara. But she does these, I don't think she's got any of the actual ready-made up ones, but she sells downloads for the project cards. So you can get the PDF version to print at home for the project cards. And basically, the idea is that you can put in your progress and stuff on your blanket. So I still need to fill this in a little bit more. I need to decorate it a little bit more. I want to add little scraps of the yarn and stuff like that. But as you can see, I kind of put, you know, in September I'd started, I didn't do very good at starting it in this book. Here we go, look, there you go. When I did the one the other day, the Let Me Count the Ways one, I put the information in. So the date, what was going on. So this was on Saturday that I did this one, the yarn that I used, the colourway I used, how I was feeling. And then any other little notes. I can't read it because for me it's backwards. What did I write? I think I put that it was the evening after the Glasgow School of Yarn virtual show and we were watching The Haunting of Hill House. So just a nice little memory of the memories in the blanket, if that makes sense. There's a few colourways that I won't know and but I can put the yarn in and I really like it. I decorated mine a little bit with some washi tape. Nothing fancy. But I'm going to put little hole punches in, or I might just tie the yarn onto the hooks, onto the rings, something like that. I haven't decided, but I am finally using this and it is going to be specific for this blanket. Right, that is all the stuff that I have put any progress onto, even though most of the progress is very minimal. I have done a teeny tiny bit on my Stephen West make-along, mystery knit-along. I've done like, I don't know, 2 rows or something of the next clue. I need to spend a little bit of time catching up. I'm hoping this week will be slightly less chaotic. I haven't got a lot of dyeing to do this week. I need to do the Nostalgia Club, but it's actually, I've had less orders for the Nostalgia Club this month, which in some ways is quite nice because it means that the dyeing will be a lot quicker. And I haven't got a big shop update to plan for, so that makes life a little bit easier as well. Right. What's next? Yarny goodness. I've got a couple of things of yarny goodness to share with you. One of them is something that I purchased a while ago, and then one of them is actually something that I was about to say something that I dyed myself, but I didn't dye it. Let's start with the thing I purchased. So, excuse all the crinkling. I received my advent calendar from Spectrum Fibres today. This was a big treat to myself. I'd ordered one last year and I absolutely adored it. I knit a Dust of Snow wrap out of it and I wear that Dust of Snow wrap constantly. I absolutely adored it. So when she was doing advent calendars again this year, I had to treat myself to one. So this is it. And she has put my advent packaging to absolute shame. My advent packaging this year is a little bit rough and rustic. But hers is stunning. Bryony has blown it out the bag with personalised boxes. How gorgeous is that? They've got a little magnet closure. I'm not spoiling anything by opening this because obviously it is all wrapped up and secret anyway, so don't panic. But then inside are all of the numbered little packages. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm really excited to be opening this throughout Advent. I haven't settled on a pattern yet. I think, well, actually, I'm really contemplating knitting the new pattern that is going to be released by Ellie of Craft House Magic. I've completely forgotten the name of it. But she's releasing an Advent pattern that's available in her Advent calendars, but she's also releasing it separately so that you can kind of purchase it. And I really, really like the look of it. So I'm contemplating knitting that with this Advent calendar. But I'm also aware that December could potentially be a really chaotic month. So I'm thinking that maybe this year I need to take some pressure off myself and not commit to knitting something throughout Advent and trying to keep up with it. Because I probably won't. So I'm not sure, but I think that's the pattern I'm going to go with. But yeah, Bryony has absolutely outdone herself with this presentation and it is stunning. This box will get kept and used as well. Right, what else? Oh yeah, stuff that I didn't dye myself. During half term, Arthur was absolutely desperate to dye some yarn. We did some a while back, well, a couple of years ago actually, when I first did yarn shows. He dyed up a load of minis and we popped them on the stall and we sold them as what I called kiddie yarns. And he has been asking me ever since, and all of the half term holidays, he was like, can we do some kiddie yarns? Can we do some kiddie yarns? So what we decided in the end, instead of putting minis in the shop, mostly because I had a shortage of minis and couldn't really justify him dyeing random minis. So what we did is I gave him some 100-gram skeins and he has dyed yarn that we will use as, hopefully, for gifts for people for Christmas. So this one here, he has dyed up. I'm not going to talk about who I'm going to dye them for, but it'll all be family members, who I'm going to knit stuff for, but it'll all be family members. But I don't want to, just in case any of my family is watching. But he has dyed this one here, which is on a sparkle base. I think he's done really well. I helped him a little bit with the colours. We discussed which colours we thought would go together and we picked out the colours, and then I put the colours in a little pots, made him wear a face mask, which of course he's quite used to nowadays because COVID. Oh, and in Scotland, you might think, why is a 6-year-old wearing a face mask? But in Scotland, children over the age of 5 have to wear face masks in shops and stuff like that. So he is used to wearing a face mask. But anyway, yeah, I gave him everything and he then just put the yarn into the pans, and then I put the pans on the hob to steam and set. So he really enjoyed it. He's done really well with this one. This one is absolutely beautiful. And then we've got this one as well. So he's got kind of blues, burgundies and greens. I really like how this one came out. I'm interested to see how this knits up. I think the plan for this one is that this one's going to get turned into a really simple cowl, kind of like a sock head cowl. And then he also did this one, all the purples, and again this one's on a sparkle. All the pinks and purples and green, and again that one's really, really lovely. That one's going to be really pretty. And then we've got 2 more. So there is this one here, which is a lovely kind of autumnally neutral kind of, well, not neutral, what am I on about? I keep using the word neutral for some reason. Muted autumnal colours, kind of the greens and the oranges. It's really pretty. And then finally this one here, which didn't, I don't know, he's really happy with it. It was the first one he did and he was adamant that he was going to do it a certain way, and I was kind of trying to say to him, I'm not sure that's the best way to do it, but he's 6. So this one here, which has got some reds and a little bit of green and a little bit of navy in there as well. But he's adamant that this one is for something for Jasper. So I need to have a little think about what I could make Jasper out of this one. But he really enjoyed it, and we've now got some yarns that we can use for Christmas presents. And I think it would be really nice for the family members to be able to turn around and say, well, yeah, not only have we made you something for Christmas, but Arthur actually dyed the yarn as well. So that is the plan with that. Okay, so that is all of the yarny goodness. What's next? Shop news. Just a quick chat about some shop news. So as I said, a big thank you to everyone that shopped the Glasgow School of Yarn update. That was absolutely amazing. Stripes sold out really quickly, and there's still various bits. I haven't checked stock levels, but there's still various bits with the Little Women collection as well. I think there's still some minis and things available for those. I'm planning to do a couple of shop updates over the next month and a bit. So the 14th of November, I think I will just have a bit of a restock. So anything that's sold out from kind of the new collections in terms of Christmas colourways, and also maybe from the Little Women collection, I'll just do like a little restock of that. I might also do some scrappy boxes for that as well. Maybe we'll try and go with some Christmas colours for some scrappy boxes. And then on the 5th of December, I'm aiming for the 5th of December to be a stripy update. So I will be bringing back the festive colourways, especially the new ones. Oh, pardon me. And kind of the same colourways that were in this shop update, I'll be restocking those in December. So if you missed them, then that will be coming then. My aim with the stripes is to kind of have a stripe update every 6 to 8 weeks, something like that, to give myself time to do it and it not be too much and too overwhelming. What else was I going to say? Dye to order, that's on my list. I'm thinking that with my regular collection, so the Flower Fairies collection, the Bedtime Stories collection, possibly not so much the Winnie the Pooh collection because there's only the one colourway at the moment, although I might be planning something for that in January. And at the moment, not the Little Women collection because it's still new, so I'll probably just restock it. But I'm thinking of moving those to a kind of dye to order for the website. So basically it would be a kind of 2 to 3 week turnaround, but all the colours would be available on any base. And you could just purchase them to order as and when you wanted them, basically. I might try and get that sorted for the November update. I just need to see. I'd also quite like to be able to offer it so that if you were to purchase kind of 3 or more skeins of the same colourway, then you would get kind of an automatic discount applied, so that you kind of get discounts for sweater quantities. But I need to work out the logistics of whether I can do that on Shopify and just the computery website logistics of how that would work. But hopefully it's possible. Right, and one other thing, advent calendars. As I said, the international ones have shipped this morning. I'll be sorting out all the tracking information after I've finished talking here. The UK ones will be shipping in the next couple of weeks, so they should be shipping by the first week of November, hopefully. And then the 12 Days of Christmas boxes will be shipping out early to mid-November. I am just waiting at the moment for a few of the dyers to get their yarn to me. So that's the limiting factor at the moment, is just waiting for them to get the yarn to me. I also haven't dyed up my colourway for it, but I was kind of waiting until most of the yarn's here and then I can get mine dyed as well. So they will be heading out, yeah, mid-November. With the advent calendars, I had said that I would be including some information with regards to potential like patterns you could knit or recommendations for patterns. And I completely forgot to do that. I was in a bit of a panic getting my flyers printed and I completely failed to include any kind of pattern ideas and pattern suggestions. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to, at some point between now and the beginning of December, I am going to put together a blog post on my website with suggestions and links to various different advent patterns, ones that I particularly think will work well with the advent calendar that I've dyed, and various different suggestions with that. I'll also hopefully put together a couple of colourways that I think would work really, really well as a neutral to go with it if you wanted to do that. And I will put that up as a blog post on my website. So hopefully that will help if anybody has any questions with regards to kind of the type of patterns that they could knit with the advent calendar. So I will be doing that. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to say. There is a bundle in our Ravelry group. There's already an advent bundle that you can kind of access and have a little look at, which are some of my suggestions of advent patterns. If anyone has got any other suggestions of advent patterns, then give me a shout because I can always add them to the bundle. Right, that is all of the shop news stuff. Oh, I'm so tired today. My brain is not functioning. And then last thing is just a little bit of life stuff, just to say that we are still waiting on the mortgage for our house. As you know, if you've been watching, I mentioned a few weeks ago that we had an offer accepted on a house locally, very locally, and hopefully that's all going through. We've applied for the mortgage and everything like that. In Scotland, it's a little bit more secure because the way that the offer system works, once your offer has been accepted, unless things fall through with the mortgage and everything like that, like somebody else can't jump in and go, actually, well, I'm going to offer more, and then you can lose it, which I think in England, that's a possibility, isn't it? Other people can actually come in with a higher offer and the seller can decide to take their offer. But that can't happen here because everything is done through solicitors right from the outset. Your solicitor even puts the offer in for you. But we did have a message from the mortgage people last week just to say, well, it was probably, I think it was an automated message, but it was an automated message saying, apologies for the delay, COVID, etc., etc. So it is all in progress. We are just still waiting to hear. I'm hopeful that we should hear this week, because once we've got the confirmation that we've got the mortgage, then we can kind of relax, because we rent, they're moving into a new build. So then it's just a case of waiting for their new build to be finished and we can move. At the moment, the aim is that we will be moving around the beginning of December, which could make for a really interesting Vlogmas. But yeah, still waiting on the confirmation of the mortgage, which is a little bit frustrating. Anyway, that is everything for this week. Sorry for the complete lack of knitting progress, really. It's been a really busy week, as I keep saying, and this week is going to be quite busy too, but I'm hoping to find a little bit more time to get a bit more knitting and hopefully a little bit more motivation to knit as well. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Get your Halloween make-along entries into the threads or on to the hashtag or whatever this week. I will draw prizes in the next episode. People who I announced prizes for last week, I will get your prizes in the post this week. I think I've definitely heard from one of you. I might need to just chase up and check that the other person has seen. But yeah, your prizes will be in the post this week. And I think that's everything. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.